Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System 22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. We've had a couple of questions lately. The first one was about how to make a full width full screen slider, and another one was about how to stop the text animating on a slider so you've got the same text over each slide and it doesn't animate in and out with the slides. So we're going to do both of those today in one shot. We've got a full screen slider here. As you can see, it's animating. We got some text down there that doesn't change as the slides go around. Really easy to do. Just one tiny little bit of code we got to put in here today, but it's very easy. So let's get started. I'm going to enable my Visual Builder. And let's go down. I'm going to add a new section. Little purple button. The reason this is purple and not blue, if I go down below the section below here, blue button for a regular section. This section is what they call a full screen section. So I'm going to click on it. Now you can use a regular section. You can use a regular slider if you want to, and then make the row full width. Or you can go to full width over here. There's a much smaller selections of modules here, but they do have a nice full width slider. So if we pop one of those in, fantastic. Here it is down here. It just puts in some text for you. Let's get rid of this one on the top so it doesn't confuse us. I'll just save my changes there. And get rid of this section. Great. So here's our slider. If I go back in there, it puts in two slides. Both got the same text. I'm going to get rid of one of the slides. So we're just left with one. I'm going to go into that particular slide. Obviously, put whatever title you want in there. I haven't got a real title for mine. What you want your button to say here. And your body text down below. I'm going to leave mine all on the default. An image and video, if you want to add an image or a video, it's going to pop up on the left hand side here. Just to show you, I'll pop a little image in there. You'll see it rolls in from the left hand side there. I don't want this on mine today. I'm going to keep mine just to text. Same thing for video. It'll turn up over here if you want to add a video. You can link each of your slides by putting a link in here. And also this is where you put in the link in for your button. I'm going to leave it just as it is. But if you want the whole slide to be a link as well as the button, you can put a different link in or the same link in here. Always best practice, if you're linking to your own site, leave it in the same window. If you're linking off-site, open it in a new tab. That way your site's going to stay open. Now background, here's the fun bit. This is where we put in our images. Third tab along, background image. Hit the little plus to add an image. I'll put the same one in I put in before. That's great. We're losing our text a little bit in there because of the light on light. Great little workaround for that is if we go back to the color, the first tab here, let's throw a black in there. What I can do is go back to the image tab now, roll down. Right at the bottom, background image blend. Normal. I'm going to flip it from normal to multiply, and it'll multiply with that with the black. Well, you can certainly read that writing now, but we can't see our image. So all we need to do, go back to our color field. Click on the color field itself. The opacity slider over here, the variegated one, we can pull it down so we can see enough of that image and yet still read that text nicely. I think that's going to work for me, something like that. Obviously adjust to taste. And let's just adjust our title, make that button slightly more interesting. Then we'll make this full screen. So over in design, remember we're in the slide itself. Got the title text. H2 is fine. I've been using a font for my titles called Anton, so it'll be up in my recents up here. If you want to audition a font, just roll over it. It gives you an example like that. There's my Anton. I'll stick to that one. Let's make it uppercase. And just so it stands out a little bit more, I'll add a bit of text shadow. Perfect. And for the button, we just roll down. Button's just below. Keep it pretty simple. I'm going to turn the custom styles button to yes, or switch right here. Text is fine. Text color is fine. Button background, that's all I'm going to change. Let's say, give it a purple. Again, I'm going to click on that field, take the opacity down a little bit so you get a hint of the image behind. And I really don't want the white border on there. And also when they hover over it, let's have it change color perhaps to a blue. Common to all Divi modules, if you hover over the dark writing within a module, you see some little icons appear. If there's a little arrow, there is in our button background case, we can click on it. It'll open 2 tabs, so you can have one color for desktop when the mouse is not on it, and a completely different color or completely different value depending on what you're adjusting. Click on the hover tab, we'll make it blue. Great, let's just flip it back to the desktop. I think actually with that blue, it means we'll take the opacity down a bit also. So I'm going to click on the field. That's perfect. And let's go down there. I don't want any border on there. It says there isn't one, but I can see one. So let's just flip it up to 1. Flip it back to 0. That border's gone. Fantastic. Well, I'm going to leave that just like that. Let's roll down past our button now. And just underneath, you'll find sizing. You can adjust the content, what you've got in here. At the moment, I'm fairly happy with it, but we could draw it in a little bit. Just make it a little bit deeper like that. And you can adjust for different devices, again, by rolling over the text. If there's a mobile phone type icon there, you can hit the mobile phone type icon and adjust the tablet and mobile completely different values. I'm going to leave it just like that. Great. Well, let's just save this slide. It'll take us back to the main full width slider settings. I'm going to go into my design now in the main slider settings. I'm going to go down to sizing. To make this full screen, I'm going to use minimum height, so it can get bigger if it needs to on smaller devices to fit all that writing in. I'm going to take it from auto. Let's give it 100 VH for viewable height. And that's going to be 100% of the viewable height on all devices. And if there's a device that's small enough and it needs to get bigger than 100%, it can do because we're using minimum height there. Fantastic. So we've got our first slide. Let's go back to our content now. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to go into my second one. We're not going to change anything because we want the same text on everything in this particular slider. What I'm going to do is go down to background here. I'm going to change out the image. So I'm facing the other way. It's fine. Maybe a little bit dark there. So on this slide, we can go back. We can adjust the opacity, take it down a little bit if we want to lighten that up. Just as long as we can read that writing nicely. Great. I'm going to save that back to the full width slider settings. Roll up to the content. I'm going to clone it one more time. And obviously rinse and repeat as many times as you want. I'm just going to do 3 here. And again, I'm just going to change the background over to image. Let's throw this crazy thing in. And again, let's just adjust the opacity. So if you want to read the text more and have that darker, you can do that. It's actually quite cool. Or if you want less and see more of the car, drag it down. I think I quite liked it. Just like that. Now, of course, we need to animate this so it revolves from one slide to the other. So let's save our slide settings there, back to the main full width slider settings, over to the design tab. If we roll down all the way, we've got animation. Now, a question that I get every time I build a slider is somebody says, I can't find animation, or I haven't got animation at the bottom of my design tab. Chances are, if you're doing that, you're probably in one of your slides. So if I go back to one of my slides, go into any one of these here, over to the design tab and roll down to the bottom, there's no animation at the bottom. So if you can't find it, you're in your slider, you're probably in one of your slide settings. Just hit the green check mark. It'll take you back to the main full width slider settings, back over to design. Here's your animation. Automatic animation. I'm going to flip it from off to on. It does it every 7 seconds by default, 700 milliseconds. Let's just change that to perhaps 5,000 milliseconds. As you can see, it's rolling around. But as you may have noticed, our text is animating in on each slide. Now, for a normal slider where we've got different text and different call to actions, that'd be okay. But as we're having the same text over each slide, it looks a little crazy to me. And people have asked, how do we stop this? Really easy. One little line of code. We go into our advanced in the full width slider here to the custom CSS. You can go over to the module elements, roll on down, slide description. I'm just going to write animation, colon, none, N-O-N-E. Now when the slides roll around, it's not animating in. That text is staying absolutely statically. Now you may have noticed a little white flash when it goes from one slide to the other. It's fading out, and that's the actual background. So while we're in our full width slider, if we go to our content here, and down to the background, let's try putting a black background in there. And you'll notice on the front end, you don't get that flashing so much. So let's have a look on the front end, make sure this is all going to work for us. I'm going to save my changes there. I'm going to save the page changes. If you haven't already, hit your little purple button. If you've got a draft page, save draft or publish. We're going to go ahead and save and exit the visual builder. So there we have it. There's our full width, full screen slide. It's going to slide to the next slide, and that text is going to stay static. It's not going to fade in or out with the slide. Same with our third slide there. Obviously, add as many or as few slides as you want to. But I hope that's answered that question, A, of how to stop your text animating on each of these slides. And I'll put that little bit of code down below, but it's so easy as you saw. And B, how to create a full width, full screen slider. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you have any questions, pop them down below. I'll do my best to answer them for you, or make a little demo video just like this one. So once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.